What's going on, race fans? That's Alex and Eileen, and it's Lights Out F1. And as you can see, we're doing something kind of different here this week. This week, it's going to be strictly podcast audio only. And in fact, I have Eileen and I are not even together right now. We're in a different state,
God,
different
you
city.
make it sound like so bad, like we're not together.
Well, we're together. We're just not in the same area right now. We're kind of separated because of travel right now, and it was easier for us to kind of just sit down and record an audio and not do video and try to get this out as fast as possible for everybody. So
Yeah, since it's race week again.
it's the second part of the triple header that we just watched. It's the Styria Grand Prix in Austria. And Max Verstappen had pole. He had a really hell of a qualifying run. A 103 he got into.
Yeah, he did. That he did.
A 103.
At home in the Red Bull ring.
Yeah. And then, not so far back was Bottas and Lewis. So we had, but then we had a couple things that happened in practice and in qualifying that kind of caused a couple things that happened at the start of the race, So before we even could get into the race, things were already happening.
The penalties?
Well, yeah. So we had Bottas with his penalty, which was what was it, three place penalty?
Yes, correct. Because he spun in the pit lane.
Spun. Yeah, I mean, he almost spun. It wasn't quite like a true Mazepin spin. It was more of a.
Oh, no.
He went sideways and then went sideways and kind of lost it and then wasn't really able to get out of losing it without having somebody help push him and back.
I think it was a little harsh.
You think it was a little harsh?
I do. Not like he did it on purpose. I think the announcers even said it was harsh. They were like, it doesn't even need to be investigated. But then they had to give Tsunoda a penalty because they probably realized that they shouldn't have given Valtteri that big of a penalty.
So what should have Valtteri got?
I don't know. Slap on the wrist. Can't we just let him be great for one weekend? Can't we just let him be great?
Let him
Come
be
on,
great.
guys.
Let him be great.
I'll qualify as Hamilton, still finishes and starts behind him.
I know.
The luck.
He doesn't have it this season.
He doesn't. He did still finish P3 though. So
he did. So he ended up starting. Bottas ended up starting 5th. And
no, he ended up starting 6th, right?
No, it was 5th.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And so that, and then you also mentioned Tsunoda, and he also did something stupid, and he kind of tried to get out of the way, but he got out of the way in a braking zone, and that was a huge no. So they gave him a pretty good penalty. Was that penalty worth it?
Yeah, 3 places because it was qualifying, and he was holding up drivers in the racing line. It's a rookie mistake. Yeah.
All right, so he got the penalty, and he ended up getting put back. I believe it was to.
I think it was P11.
P11, and that ended up pushing George Russell, into the top 10, which was a pretty awesome sight to see. And I think he had a really good car this weekend to start.
I mean, yeah, he had a good lap regardless. He was in P11. And then everybody moved up. So.
Yep. Yeah, so he got his P10 spot and really in the hunt for some points this weekend. So I know. So yeah, the start of the race, pretty good start of the race, I would say. I mean, I guess overall maybe a boring race or a typical race because at the end of it, it was kind of spaced out and there was a lot of time between first, second, So, but the start, anyways, Lewis and
The start
Max.
was the start was good
It was.
for the front runner.
It was the top five. Actually, if you look at the race, the top five were all kind of like separated, and then the rest were kind of back just a little bit. And there was a good fight, because the top two were fighting, but then there was also Norris and Perez fighting. It was a good start.
Yeah, Perez actually had the best start out of everybody, according to the analysis.
The analysis.
So great to see.
Yeah.
It was exciting, and then kind of true Charles Leclerc fashion at this track, causing an accident in turn one.
Well, oh yeah. So Gasly went a little wide on turn one because he had somebody on the inside, and then Leclerc was on the outside. So on turn one, Gasly pushed Leclerc outside a little bit, and Leclerc ended up going off the track. And then he came back on, and then for some reason Leclerc kind of kept cutting over and not keeping the space. And then I don't understand. I guess he didn't realize there was not enough room in front of him, and then he clipped Gasly with that rear tire, almost like he did it on purpose, Eileen.
I mean, maybe he did.
Maybe he did.
I don't know.
I don't know. It was a weird scenario. How he would have not had enough room just to let him go and did like that. I don't know. But Leclerc clipped Gasly's rear tire, and they both had to go in to the pits.
No, they both didn't have to go in. Leclerc caused a puncture.
Yeah.
To Gasly.
Yeah.
Which ruined his race.
Yep.
So Leclerc just zipped on into the pit lane and got a new front wing, and then came back out and ended up driver of the day.
Yeah, but Gasly, he rode that car pretty hard back into the pits, and if he would have drove it a little slower, he probably could have got it back in without breaking that rear axle like he did. I mean, you saw it when it was riding in. It was riding it had hydraulics with one wheel in the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's better than causing a red flag, I guess.
I guess. Then, last couple of races, we haven't really seen any flags, not too many. This one, again, no yellows, really. It was we had some people leave, and didn't finish. They had some DNFs, Gasly being the first. After lap one, didn't make it past lap one.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad. But anyway, there was some other good stuff that happened about halfway through. We had some tires and some strategy kind of kick in, and Norris being in third place off the start kind of tried to hold it off. He did pretty good for a minute, but then ended up losing it to Perez and then right away to Bottas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Norris and Perez were on the soft, so the tires went a little quicker, as expected.
Yeah, true.
And Norris just later, I feel like just let Perez by.
I would say he let them both by, but yeah, I mean, I think that he was on a different strategy. He knew he wasn't going to even be able to keep up, and why fight? I don't know why not fight. Maybe put up a little fight, but
yeah, I don't know. I think I was holding Perez off for a little bit, and then
he was definitely
he just didn't have the pace, and so still a good race from him, but couldn't hold him back.
Yeah. And then we started getting into this first round of pit stops, and Perez was in.
And what? George Russell went into the pit?
Well, yeah, I had George Russell in what we thought was going to be a really good race for him because he was even pushing Alonso, and I was
he was in 8th place.
8th place, pushing for 7th.
Hello.
And Yeah, and then he had some air issues, some air compressor issues, and they had to top him off. And apparently,
Mercedes teams and their pit crews ruining everything.
I mean, but Red Bull had an issue this week too. So, Perez came in
Yeah,
right after George Russell, and his stop was, I think, 4 seconds or just over 4 seconds because they couldn't get that rear tire off fast enough. So,
I
uh,
know.
and that actually cost Perez, I would say, the podium. I would say if he would have had a quicker pit stop, the traditional fast Red Bull pit stop, they would have gotten him out. He would have probably been ahead of Bottas still, and he would have been able to finish the race because that that
I agree.
yeah, and they probably would have been able. He would have been able to eke it out on just a one stop instead of doing what he ended up doing, which was he made a third or a second stop. So he made a two stop this week, and it worked for him. And if he would have had one more lap, I think he probably would have got the podium. Honestly, he was right there, right there.
Yeah, that was so stressful.
I know, I know. It was very stressful. So, it ended up Verstappen winning pretty easily. He was able to keep a really good space and keep a good distance between him and
Verstappen
Hamilton.
by 35 seconds.
Yeah, that's because Hamilton stopped and put on some tires to go for fastest lap. And if he wouldn't have done that, it probably would have been closer to, 14 seconds, somewhere in that area. And and I was watching some analysis, and there, Lewis was saying they're a quarter a second faster, and if you would do a quarter a second times 71 laps, it roughly comes out to like 15, 16 seconds. So he was pretty close and pretty accurate in saying what he said earlier before the even race started.
Yeah, I guess they've been a lot closer in all of the previous races. So I feel like I don't know. Did he just back off?
Uh,
Seems, seems,
I think
seems like
he knew he didn't have the pace, and why risk running the tires and having worse problems, and so he just maintained his pace, and then he was eligible and got in a nice spot to pull back in to get a fresh set of tires for fastest lap, and he got his fastest lap, so he got every point he possibly could get this weekend, and
I
even
didn't even think they were gonna. I didn't think they were even gonna go for fastest lap. They waited till lap 70 to
I
actually push
know,
for
I
it.
know, I know, it was crazy. I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I think if they pitted him too early to go for fastest lap, then Max could have went for fastest lap because there was such a gap
Oh
from
yeah,
one to
good
two
good
and
point.
two to three.
Yeah, you're probably right. That probably could have happened. Or,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, man, Perez really.
yeah.
So earlier you said F1 gave Leclerc driver of the day, and he earned it. I mean, if you go online, you can
He
see
did.
he had a lot of passes, made a lot of moves, made
Well,
some
he was in
things.
last, but he basically came in out of the pit because he had to get a wing replacement and was in last place and was really on the charge. So I get it, but still, the announcers were joking the whole time, like, we know one person that's not voting for Charles,
Yeah,
Pierre Gasly.
yeah,
Ha
yeah,
ha ha ha.
yeah.
So, but I mean, it was definitely a good race from him. I would say, like, who? I think it was Charles, then Max, and then George Russell, which I would have preferred to see George Russell, but of course he didn't finish the race, and
I mean, yeah.
that was like the
After,
heartbreak
oh,
of the race.
yeah, I was, in the words of even him, he gutted. I was gutted, and it sucks because I want to see him do good. He is a good driver, and Williams seemed to have a decent car right now, have him kind of dialed in. Even he's saying, the car's feeling good, so that's pretty impressive. And so
Yeah.
hopefully, round three of this triple header, here in Austria at the Austrian GP. Hopefully they can get it right
So
because,
the next one is called Austria.
yes, it's the Austria Grand Prix. And
Like why? So why? It's the same place.
Same place, different.
It's not a different layout.
No,
Fine, they drive it
no,
backwards.
different. The only thing that's different is the name, so they can separate the name from each other's different races. That's it. Other
But
than that, it's
Silverstone is the same.
yeah. But if you
Well,
look at it, if you
make
know,
it make sense.
it's not
Make it
actually.
make
It's
sense.
not actually Silverstone 2. It's actually one is Silverstone, and the other one's the 70-year or whatever year anniversary it is. I'd have to look it up what year. It's not the same name. It's not the same name twice. I promise you.
Okay. All right. I believe you.
And if anyone else that really listens to this can also answer, please feel free to correct both of us.
Yeah. So was Charles your driver of the day?
no, I would say Perez because Perez put on those tires at the end and really, I think he had 19 or an 18-second gap, and it was something like 16 laps left. So it had.
I mean, we're really loving this 2-pit strategy this season. Like, really loving it, huh? That's just what we do at every race.
I think it's not a bad idea if it gets you close.
Yeah, seems to be what we're doing here. So, but yeah, no, it was a nail biter for me. I have been saying that Bottas needs to. No, not needs to, but I want him to be on the podium or to win or just whatever. And after seeing him be penalized and coming back, I was like, I don't want to see him lose in this.
Yeah.
I think I was standing up, freaking out at the TV, like, no, this can't happen.
Yeah. Bottas had a good race, even though he got screwed in the beginning, and it sucked. But I also have the answer for you for the Great Britain, and it was two different names. So the 2020 season had 2 races at Great Britain. The first race is Formula One Pirelli British Grand Prix 2020. And then the second race was Emirates Formula One 70th Anniversary Grand Prix 2020.
So there's only one race there this year?
This year, there's only one race.
Okay.
But this year is a sprint. So there's technically 2 races. But one's a sprint.
What's the points like that for that?
I think because the people like me, fans, people like you, I don't know.
No. Not what's the point. What are the points?
Oh.
Like how many points do you get?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's something that we
I don't think they've announced it yet.
They haven't. I don't think they have. I don't think they've announced it. I don't think they have it all figured out yet. I think they're trying to go through this triple header. Probably have a couple meetings about it between here and next week, and then go into the little break. I guess it would be summer break.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So then they come back from summer break. I think it's right to Britain. So, hopefully they'll have answers by then,
Yeah. So we should see a lot of contract negotiations happening of summer break. Who's getting signed to what?
Okay.
Sergio getting a second year. Okay, wow. Oh, what?
Driver contracts. Who's driving for who now, huh?
Who's going to be driver number 2 for Mercedes?
Who do you think is going to be driver number 2 after this week's race? Who's driver number 2?
I don't know. I mean, I honestly feel like Mercedes listens. They take a lot of input from Lewis, and Lewis has been very vocal that he wants Valtteri to stay for next season. But I'm not sure. There's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of drama, a lot of people talking about things, and who knows? I don't know. I feel like we'll probably see Bottas for another year. Don't you agree?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. I think Red Bull. I think Red Bull would be stupid if they didn't sign Checo next year.
Oh, so here's where we go. We're going into it. Yes, I think Checo will definitely get another contract for another year after coming out of this break. So there's 2 breaks. So here's what we got coming up. So we got next week's race, which is still at the Red Bull Ring, and then we have a little bit of a break, and when we come back, and we are in Great Britain, and then we have another little break, and then we're in Nagu. I can't even say it. Oh man. And then
Where?
we're in Hungary is where we're going. And then we're going to Belgium. And so between Great Britain, we have a week off, and then we go to Hungary, and then there's another 2 weeks off. So I think this would be their summer break is between the Red Bull Ring and Great Britain. So when they come back, you're right.
I mean, not really. That's only 2 weeks. I would say their summer vacation is in between Hungary and Belgium.
Which is isn't it 2 weeks? Hungary and Belgium, August 1st.
It's like
oh yeah,
20
it's 3.
days.
It's okay. Yeah, it's 20 days. 26 days.
26 days.
26 days. So that's their summer break. So I think then we'll know more, I guess. So we still have a couple more races. You have Hungary, and you have Great Britain. And you have this week, because it is upcoming. It's race week again. You know what I mean? It's back to back to back. Triple header.
I know. It's really intense. Really intense. So,
okay.
So I have a question.
Okay.
So I've seen a lot of things on social media, like about Mercedes and their car, and that they stopped developing it. And Red Bull is still putting, energy into this 2021 car. So what are your thoughts?
I would say it could make sense. I would say there's been an engine update for Honda, and they are definitely pushing for Max to get a championship. And I think now is better than never. So I can see that happening. I can also see Mercedes now being truly under a budget cap, which they've never had to spend that little bit of money. They always were the biggest spenders, So I think they're having issues trying to keep that cap, because we don't even know what happens if they go over. There hasn't been any even saying on what kind of penalties they get if they go spend more money. And, again, next year, 2022, those cars are completely different, finally have a different car than the last few years. And there needs to be a lot of development going into that. And if you want to be a leader, you need to go get ahead. And getting ahead is starting yesterday.
No, quite interesting, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I would tell you, I think Haas, I would say all the teams have already started development. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
We know Haas has put all their chips into next year's 2022 car for future development. And what they have currently is what they're going to have when they started the season, is what they're going to have when they finish the season. I think we all know that. That's pretty self-aware. We're trying to get these 2 rookie drivers to be better drivers, I guess, right?
Yeah. Did you see that Gunther gave Mazepin the little dial, the spinny dial from Inception?
Yeah,
as a gift?
I saw. I didn't see the video. Did you see the video? I just heard about it from the announcers.
I saw it on Instagram.
Okay.
I mean, I guess one thing I have to say is at least he's playing along with it and has a good sense of humor about it. So
yeah, that's true.
And quite frankly, it's kind of funny because he really isn't the one spinning in the last 2 races.
No, you're right.
So
you're right. And they've both been able to finish, and they're getting better. They just need a better car. We'll see what happens next year with those 2.
Yeah.
Because I believe they already have contracts too, so they're set.
Yeah. Well, I mean, lots of exciting things on the cusp.
Yeah, so your driver of the day was then, you said, Bottas.
say Bottas.
Who then?
I said I don't know if I even said.
You didn't. That's why I'm bringing it back up.
Honestly, if he would have finished the race, it would have been George Russell.
Okay, well, mine too if he would have finished the race, but that's not fair. He didn't even finish half the race. After he went for his first pit stop, he pit stopped like 3 times right after, like lap after lap after lap. He had to go back in, and then they just called
twice.
It was 3 times. It was 3 times.
No, it was twice.
No, and then on the 3rd time they called it.
Oh my God. You already said your driver of the day was Perez. You already said that.
Yeah, but I never heard yours. And you said it would be George Russell if he would have finished the race. Well, if he would have finished the race, he might have been everyone else's driver of the day too. That's a hypothetical.
Oh my God. Okay, well, just so you know, he was in the standings. It was Charles, then Max, then George, of who was voting for what during the race.
Okay, well, he didn't win because he went out way too early. And he didn't get it.
Okay, whatever. I mean, I guess I have to give it to Charles, even though I think he caused a lot of chaos. But it still was an impressive finish for him.
Yes.
Compared to P16 last race, so.
Yeah, their cars ran a little bit better this week. It was nicer for them. You're right.
Yeah. So we'll give it to him. He deserved it, I guess.
Okay.
So.
All right. Anything else you want to tell me about the race that I didn't say?
That you didn't see?
I didn't see. Or say.
I mean, congrats to Max. 4 wins this season. 4 wins straight for Red Bull.
Wow.
Which is a big deal. And 4 consecutive races with no Mercedes win. Which is like the first time since,
Oof.
I don't know, there's always some freaking record
I would say
to break.
It's close to 2014
I think it was 2018.
Okay, I don't know either. I don't know.
All I know is there's always a record to break, not even just in F1, but in any sport in general.
Yep.
So no matter what. So this was Lewis breaking the all-time record for the most P2 podiums to Michael Schumacher. So, I mean, there's got to be something. So, but we'll see what happens this weekend, I guess.
Yes, we will. We'll see what happens again at the Red Bull Ring. All the teams should have a lot more data on long runs and how the tires are going to go, but the tire selection is shifting, and the tires are going to be softer.
Yeah, and we were the whole race, the entire race, with the black clouds waiting for the rain, and them over the radios waiting for the rain. Never came, and then when the race finished, it started raining in the pit lane.
So maybe this weekend rain will come. Who knows, right? We'll see.
I mean, we certainly have enough here at home, so
we do. I know.
Share the wealth.
Yeah, we can definitely share the wealth. All right, so that about sums it up. This week's podcast is again only audio only. We will be back together at home, being able to watch the race this weekend. So we'll be able to do a podcast together, video, traditional, back at it. This is
with our dog.
With the dog. This is an ever-growing project, ever-growing thing that we're doing, and we're just trying to keep it moving the best way that we can, both travel for work. So this is what we got. So we will see you next week. Enjoy the race. It's going to be hopefully a little bit closer, a little bit different, hopefully, maybe. I don't know, different tires, maybe different weather. We'll see, right?
We can only hope.
All right, so before we go, one last thing, prediction then. Who do you want to see win next week?
Anybody but Max. I mean, I've wanted to see Lewis win this week, so I want to see Lewis win next week.
All right. I'd like to see Lewis win next week.
And you know what? I have to say, his Instagram post yesterday was very great sportsmanship. Not only saying he was slower, but congrats to Max. You don't see a lot of racers do that, as much shit as they want to talk. So, we're we're rooting for Lewis over here.
Yeah, I'm picking Lewis again for this year. I'd like to see Rain and Lewis win. That would be cool. So
Yeah,
that's what
me too.
that's my prediction. That's what I'm going for. So that's it. That's all we got. We will be back next week on video. Thanks for listening and enjoying It's Lights Out F1. I am Alex, and that is Eileen. Thank you so much for calling, Eileen.
Of course.
You sounded great, and we will
Wouldn't miss it.
Yep, well, I know. So we'll see you later. All right, bye.
Okay, bye.